It's game 2 of 2 here in Raleigh. NC State ended the first of a doubleheader today with a home run from Amanda Hassler that pushed it to a mercy rule. And fortunately for Presbyterian and Coach Williams, they won't have to wait too long to get another chance at the Wolfpack. I'm sitting down in the booth with Amanda Poole. My name's Fisher Plummer. Amanda, what were the biggest takeaways for game 1 from you coming into the second game?
I think the biggest thing was their fast start, and for NC State to be able to have that cushion in the beginning, because when Presbyterian's Wolf, their pitcher coming in, was able to kind of cool them off for a little bit, but they had a fast start and they were able to keep their foot on the gas. And I think that's something to note looking at this, as the two lineups have seen some changes for game 2. Does that mean they let their foot off the gas a little bit, or can their depth step up?
And that's the fortunate thing for Coach Leftwich, is that she's got some people with some experience that she's able to bring off the bench. Rayleigh Lehman makes way into the starting lineup there on third base. Taylor Inslee will return back to right field to replace Nadia Sykes, who was swapped halfway through. Madison Ensko will make way in the DH spot. Katie Raper is going to replace her. So that'll be a little bit of a different approach for NC State on the defensive and offensive side of things. And Kayla Feckel is the one who's going to be in the circle for Coach Leftwich, and she's just a freshman, but she's been very impressive so far.
Yeah, we were talking about that Virginia Tech series. You know, you told me when she came in there, she really didn't look at the scoreboard. It was more of like, I'm going to come in here and do my job, which is to shut this offense down. And we both know that Virginia Tech offense is seemingly unstoppable. But for her to have poise and come in there, I think that's something that Coach Leftwich wants to see. And coming into moments like this, to have a game start on a weekend like this, can give her a good rep, good experience to continue to do that.
Yeah, and that's, it's a different dynamic to come into a game, particularly against a team that hit so well in Virginia Tech, and being down, 5 or 6 runs by that point. You feel like the game may be a little bit out of your grasp at that point. But for Kayla Feckel, it's a fresh opportunity, fresh game. We don't see her too often getting these starts in these middle games, games 2 of 3. And she's getting a big opportunity here in a freshman. And Presbyterian, however, is going to be looking to hit in this second game.
Yeah, they saw themselves go cold a little bit in that last game. Obviously, a run rule, not what they wanted. For NC State, that was their 7th win in a run rule this season so far. So Presbyterian looking to get their bats going this time around.
And what was so impressive to you about Riley Wyman, who we saw go the entire way, really, for NC State? What do you think enabled for her to just kind of move through the lineup the way that she did?
It was interesting because we saw her rely on her defense in the beginning, and then all of a sudden she found her rhythm and found her groove and realized, hey, I can pull some outs here too with my pitching alone. She ended that game with 6 strikeouts and completed the entire game, but was able to have that balance of not too much pressure, but I can take care of the job when need be.
Michelle Tarpey also makes way at first base as your final substitution for NC State. She replaces Elena Smith. And that adds another piece of contact batting at the other side of the plate for Coach Leftwich. That was one of the things they talked about with Michelle Tarpey, was that she has too much contact. She hits the ball too well and swings at things too all the way across the strike zone, trying to dial in and waiting for her pitch. So she's getting an opportunity over at first base today. Well, after a little bit of delay, early start here. It's 4:25 was supposed to be the first pitch. It'll end up being 4:28 here in Raleigh. Game 2 of 2, doubleheader. NC State took game 1, and we're starting swinging here with Kelby Goodrum, who had a good game in her previous game, had a couple of hits for Presbyterian.
Yep, she leads this team with 40 hits on the season, which has now increased because of her outing in game 1 here. She's definitely someone that Coach Williams wasn't going to move out of this lineup.
And it's a good challenge for Feckel as well, as a lot of these batters are warm. They've already seen 3 or 4 ABs in this game, so they've already seen some good pitches. That's an ideal first out. Got it on the hands there of Kelby Goodrum, and an ideal fly out. Kayla Feckel isn't someone who's going to strike out 8 or 9 batters in a game. She's going to need support from her defense today.
Which is what we saw in the first couple of innings of game 1, which I'm curious to see how similar these games will be despite the change-ups. But a quick first out, quick second out, those top of the frames went by very quickly. They can continue to do that. Feckel should ease into this role a lot better.
That was the focus for Coach Leftwich, particularly with this long break coming into these games, was focusing on the defense and making sure that that was something that they felt was really tight and clean, as it keeps you in games, in close games where the game, in the previous weekend they dropped 2 games just by 1 run to Virginia, and a couple of defensive plays that go the other way may be something that flips the script there for NC State. But so far today, they really haven't messed up in the field. They've played the things that have came to them, and when there's been 50-50 balls, they've come out the other side on top.
That's what Coach Leftwich told me. She's like, we have to worry about the things that we can control, because if you start thinking outside of the diamond, then you're going to overthink, and softball's such a mental game.
So a 3-0 count here. Caitlin Tucker hasn't seen a pitch that she's wanted to swing at yet.
Feckel with just 25 innings pitched headed into this one.
Can't find the strike zone with the first couple of pitches. That, leads you to think is with Kelby Goodrum's initial swing, was that a pitch that she probably shouldn't have swung at and waited on a strike? In these kinds of scenarios, you got to wait for something to be in your zone before you swing at it. So a runner on first, that's early here for the Blue Hose compared to how it was in the previous game. And Casey Wolf, no better than her to try and bring her around. Second on the team in RBIs. It's right up there in batting average. Now is just looking for a good time, and I think that's a smart call there from Amanda Hassler to, come out there and settle your pitcher. What do you think she's saying right now?
I think she's like, hey, you're here for a reason. Coach put you here for a reason. Like you said, she's normally not the starter in a Saturday game like this, but Coach has the confidence in her to be able to come out here and perform, and I think Amanda's just relaying that message.
It's 5 straight balls for Kayla Feckel. Most recent seen by Casey Wolf for a 1-0. Feckel just struggling with her command right now in terms of getting it over the plate. You have a feeling that at this point she's not looking to locate. It's just a matter of getting it over the heart of the plate.
Maybe let her defense do the work.
Long time in between pitches here for Kayla Feckel. Really thinking about it. Wolf is not going to swing until she sees one that is in the wheelhouse. That one a little bit better, still misses, however, and it's 3-0. What do you think Feckel needs to do here in order to get a strike across the board?
I think she's got to just throw one down there, a very swingable one, to be able to put this ball into play, and maybe just to visualize it, to be like, hey, I can throw in the zone here.
Better return pitch. It sets up the 3-1. Maybe that sets Feckel up a little bit better here for the back half of this AB. But it's a good spot to be in if you're Casey Wolf. She's got a hitter's count. And if it's anything close, you'll want to drive it, put it in play, and try and bring home Caitlin Tucker. 3-1, on time with it, fouled it straight back, and now Feckel's back into the count here on 3-2. So Wolf stays alive after fouling off the previous. Now we'll be looking for contact here on 3-2. Feckel loads up another. It's in the zone and rings up a big-time strikeout for Kayla Feckel. And that was a great mentality battle there for the freshman to get behind early, get a meeting from your catcher, and then still in the batter with a strikeout.
Feckel's 17th strikeout of her time here at NC State. Just a freshman, but coming out of a great high school career, state championship in 2022. She was pitcher of the year in almost every category coming out of high school, and I think that's something that Coach Leftwich saw and is able to help develop her, especially working alongside Wyman.
And yeah, Kayla Feckel is seriously fortunate to have some upperclassmen that she can look up to, that have had experience in pitching before here. We'll have a quick break to talk with Kayla Feckel. But yeah, she's got Madison Insko, Riley Wyman, and Aisha Wexelman, all who have experience in the ACC. And like we said, it's kind of pitched by committee this year as opposed to really having a true 1, 2, and 3 type pitcher. And that's got to be something that kind of helps you settle yourself in. You're just another cog in the wheel rather than being a position in the ladder.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you look at the ACC in general, and we've talked about, the Duke matchup that they have coming up later this season, and that's such a pitcher-heavy team, and you can see what defense can do, especially in the circle, but Leftwich is kind of taking a different approach and having depth in that position and then relying on defensive efficiency in the field.
So So a little break there after Feckel returns after the strikeout with a ball. Don't mind that call there again from Coach Leftwich and company to come out there, settle the pitcher down. Despite seeing success, misses with that initial strike. It's so important as a pitcher to get that first pitch strike in. Your chances of succeeding and getting the batter out, not only at the plate but in the field as well, just skyrocket when you start off with an 0-1 instead of a 1-0. Big swing and a miss there on 2-0, but Kendall Owens had earned that swing after seeing the first two by.
Maybe Coach came out and gave her some Lifesaver gummies, because according to this, it says that Feckel has to have a bag of Lifesaver gummies before games. It's a ritual. So maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, maybe forgot the back half the package there.
Yeah.
And finish him out on the circle. 3-1. It's a hitter's count here to Kendall Owens. What color Lifesaver's your favorite?
Ooh. Gotta go with red.
I know. That's a classic, right?
Too good.
3-1. Hitter's count. Owens decides to hold off on it. So it's first and second here for Presbyterian. And I think this is the best offensive situation they've seen today.
They seem more in control than they had been, especially for the start of that first game. And just having two runners on, I felt like they could hit and get to first, but then it just fizzled out. But there's still 2 outs. I think NC State is still in this. See if Feckel can close it out.
This will be Fletcher to get her first opportunity against Feckel. First and second. Hit well by Fletcher. It's backing up onto it is Bailey Edwards. She makes the catch right at the warning track. Good piece of contact there from Presbyterian, and a good top of the first for the Blue Hose. NC State with no damage dealt. 0-0 as we drop it into break.
Leading off for your Wolfpack, shortstop number 20, Michaela Marbury.
Bottom of the first here in Raleigh. Michaela Marbury to lead off for NC State, but it's Peyton Duncan who's on the circle here for Coach Williams and the Blue Hose. And she's got a lot to fill up here with Casey Wolf, leading a really good, back half of that game for Presbyterian. They're going to try and carry some of that defensive momentum into this game.
Yeah, and Peyton Duncan has had some sparks this season in the circle. Her season high was 7 innings pitched against SC State with 10 strikeouts, and that was early in April. So not too long ago, she's been able to have a big showing. It's going to see if she can get back to that groove here in this game.
She had the lowest ERA of any of their pitchers last year and had a 6-2 record at the end of that season. Hasn't quite panned out the way she's wanted it to this year, but nonetheless, like you said, she has the ability to do so and contribute at a high level, and she's getting a good opportunity here against a hot NC State order. Michaela Marbury hits it well. A lot of altitude under this one. Shallow left field, and the catch will be made out there by Logan Grice. An ideal first out to settle in. Peyton Duncan and the Blue Hose get their defensive effort started.
Number 44, Taylor Ensley.
Taylor Ensley, who only got 2 ABs in her last game as she was substituted out for Nadia Sykes. Good an opportunity here in the first inning. Good initial pitch there from Peyton Duncan, a close miss, but is attacking straight at the batter. And it doesn't appear that Duncan is afraid to go straight at these hitters of NC State. No Tori Inslee in the lineup today for NC State. Typically we see them in the 1-2 spot. Tori unavailable.
This is the first time all season she's not playing in a game. I wonder if that affects her sister. I know she's spent 2 years here before her sister got here, but you got to think there's something missing.
2-0. It's popped straight up. Will this stay in the ballpark is the question. It's out into the stands. It's a fresh souvenir. 2-1.
The fans are 0 for 2 today, by the way. Get it together, guys.
Still a round of applause nonetheless. Everybody's a winner out here at the Dale. 2-1. Duncan looking to get an out here at the plate. Just fouled one off. Did Taylor Inslee. Hit well into the gap by Taylor Inslee. Tracking onto it is the center fielder, and it does get down in time in front of Kara Starnes. On second base is Taylor Inslee. She's got a stand-up double there in the 2-hole spot.
Great timing, just one out on the board. Taylor Inslee knowing what this pitch means right down the middle there for her. Great placement, outfielder trying to get it, trying to track it, but that ball was moving fast.
Yeah, got to that wall in a hurry. Stearns tried to take the angle onto it and cut it off. No such luck, and Inslee's on second base, and Amanda Hassler the one to try and bring her around here, and none better. Saw her exploits in the previous game as she ended it in the bottom of the 5th to push it to a mercy rule with a bomb over the wall in left field. And she knows a thing or two about taking advantage of the short porch here.
A dozen home runs this season, pretty incredible. Definitely, as a pitcher for Duncan here, she knows how dangerous this batter can be.
That also happened in the first game. Amanda Hassler gets hit by a pitch, and so she'll go towards first base. And not an ideal first couple of ABs there for Amanda Hassler, but she'll take it nonetheless.
13 hit by pitches this season. That'll put her at 4th in the ACC. She just takes it for the team, as they say, in position, ready to swing it, but she'll get hit with this one right in the arm. She got a pad there, though, so she was ready for it.
Yeah, that's what we put on the 20 accessories for, right? Just to protect those areas. First and second for the Wolfpack. One out here for the Hose.
Hassler tying the program record for most hit by pitches with 29 careers. She really does take them for the team.
Yeah, no doubt. That's got to be a stat that hurts to be at the top of. You know what I mean? Can't be comfortable. So Hassler's on first.
Also, I think as a catcher, you're used to getting hit, I feel like, so maybe it's easier for her.
Well, she crowds the plate so much as well. Hassler, has such a hitting first approach as opposed to, just getting on base or walking or anything like that. You feel like it never really happens with her. She just is really wanting to make contact. So when she leans into the plate like that so much, naturally you're going to get some off of you. Ellie Goins finds a soft spot in the outfield, and they're going to send home the runner coming around from second. That's Taylor Inslee, but they catch Amanda Hassler cheating going towards third base, and they get a second out. So NC State gets one on the board, but Presbyterian with a heads-up play to get the out at third.
Great job for Presbyterian. Although one run escapes, they were able to kind of eliminate some of the damage early on before NC State can get going here. Great hit by Goins up the middle and through the defense, but look at that arm from the center fielder to be able to get Amanda Hassler out at third and eliminate that damage. Could have been a 2-run game right there, but now it's just 1-0.
Yeah, ideal outcome for the Blue Hose, particularly with the runner on second base and only, no outs on the board. Now you got one that you can work with, and it's Katie Raper who will get the opportunity here coming into hit for Madison Insko in her spot.
Katie Raper, a 4-year starter on varsity in high school. She led the team with 10 home runs back in 2022, so she's got a nice little resume coming into this program.
It's just Goins who's camped out on first now. NC State's jumped out to a 1-0 lead. It was something we talked about in the previous game that was so important. Was they're 18-4 now when they've scored first in the games, and they score often in the first inning. Throw down towards second base, not a bad throw at all, and she's out at second. Nice play from Maddie Wood behind the plate and gets the third out for the Blue Hose. Good play from the catcher behind the plate, and only one run crosses for NC State. Offense next when we come back.
NC State softball single game tickets are on sale at GoPack.com. Upcoming matchups include Pittsburgh. You can purchase your tickets at GoPack.com/.
Oh, you're totally right. Missed that. It is bizarre to me that it takes the pitcher the longest to get. Back top of the second here in Raleigh. Sun's creeping out. It's kind of been in and out all day over here in the capital city. Hopefully it'll stick around with us. It's Fisher Plummer and Amanda Poole with you inside the broadcast booth. And Amanda, what was so impressive with you about it? They didn't get any runs in that top of the first inning, but that might have been some of the best offense that we've seen from the Blue Hose so far today. What do you think about them coming into this one?
Yeah, I think this game we're seeing a lot more even. Right now, both teams have 7 strikes. I think the Blue Hose has been able to match NC State's defense as well, and that's something that they didn't do, and the lead got away from them way too early in game 1, but now it's under control already, headed into inning 2.
And Giannis will lead off for the Blue Hose. Kayla Feckel returns to the circle, and that was a problem that we saw her struggle with in the beginning of the inning, was getting behind 1-0 in counts and missing and getting behind multiple balls. So to see that one not go into the strike zone immediately, not the best sign for Coach Leftwich, but a big-time return pitch incoming. It's 2 in the same spot. What do you think Feckel is it just a over mechanics, or is it just overthinking it a little too much?
I think it's overthinking it. You have a freshman out here that hasn't been in this situation before, just needs to settle down. This is her first batter she's seeing in this inning, so she'll settle down here in a second, as we saw in that first inning.
It's 3 in the same spot for Kayla Feckel, 3-0, and there's no reason now, if you're Emma Yanes, or Yanis, to swing at anything coming towards the plate until she's proven she can put it in there for you. And that's not how you want to lead off if you're Kayla Feckel and NC State. You don't want to give them a free batter just like that. That one's more down the heart. Feckel will have to return with that pitch here on 3-1. And that tees up a little bit more of a swinging opportunity here for Emma Yanis.
NC State's given no reason for Feckel to not be confident in that defense, though.
And again, same thing happening here for Kayla Feckel. Gets an ideal first out despite getting behind in the count. Man, that's just the kind of pitcher she may be.
Maybe she's hustling these batters.
That's it. Feckel getting behind and then still getting outs. That doesn't seem quite right. 1-0 for NC State. They get a quick first out. That'll settle in Kayla Feckel a little more. And Logan Grice, who's moved to the catching spot. Better first pitch there from Kayla Feckel. That's the first time where we've really seen her get ahead in a count. And immediately gets some support from her infielders as well. Swing and a miss. 2 pitches that are very swingable there from Feckel, and it's 0-2. Now this is the opportunity that you can throw those bait pitches here after you've established your lead. Feckel looking to load up on another one, gets another fly ball. And that movement on her pitches so far has just been on the hands of the batters of Presbyterian, and it's resulted in some balls that have more loft on it than carry.
Yeah, the freshman Riley Lehman getting that out right there. I mean, Feckel's just relying on her defense with those flyouts, and look at the way this inning's been moving.
So Jillian Hughes will get her first AB of this game. The lefty steps in, batting just over 200 on the season. It's been more of a struggle in the back half of this lineup for Presbyterian. As you see the RBI numbers, you can expect them to, decline slightly as you go down towards the order in any baseball, card or baseball or softball card. But just in the back half of this order, not a lot of RBIs to divvy between these batters. And that tells you that they're at least getting on to set up the other people on the front half of the order. That's what their job has to be now, if they're not driving them around. Feckel floats one in towards the hands there of Jillian Hughes, which has been the bread and butter so far for Feckel. That's gotten the contact. Didn't get a swing there.
Like you said, she might not be striking people out every inning, but she can set up her defense to get the job done.
And since those first couple of balls that she's thrown, everything that has gone in towards the plate has been hittable. And Jillian Hughes will look to try and turn it the other way here. Put it in play. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. NC State with a 1-run lead. Feckel trying to get out of this inning. Swing and a miss. Kayla Feckel adds to her tally. 3 outs on the board, and NC State will go into the dugout maintaining their 1-run lead. Some offense for the Wolfpack when we come back here on ACC Network Extra. Don't go anywhere.
Fans at this time, please turn your attention to the first baseline, where we have our contestant Evan, who's set to participate in our Steal the Base challenge. For this challenge, our contestant will have 20 seconds to swing down the line, steal the base, and bring it back to the starting line. If Evan's able to steal the base, he's going to go home with an NC State prize pack. All right, Evan, get ready. Get set, go! Evan is off. He's making good time. He's got the base. He's back, top speed. And Evan has done it. Congratulations, Evan. You just won an NC State prize pack. Thank you for your participation in our Steal the Base challenge. Fans, get loud. Make some noise one more time for Evan.
Bottom of the second here in Raleigh. It's Fisher Plummer and Amanda Poole with you the whole weekend. This is game 2 of 2, the doubleheader today, one of which NC State walked off with a mercy rule there in the bottom of the 5th. It was Amanda Hassler that had it come off her bat. And now we're through 2 here, well, into 2. And NC State has a 1-0 lead over the Blue Hose. But Peyton Duncan, if this is anything to say about it here, nice play from the third baseman. Trying to scoop on it was Hughes. Unsuccessful. That was a good play over there from Casey Wolf, who got it in her glove, but unable to make the play over the first was Hughes.
Let's take another look at this. Got the catch. Great play at third. Little error at first base, and this is what we saw in the first game. Let's see how Presbyterian responds to their own mistakes, making sure that it's not costly.
Peyton Duncan's done a good job of having that short-term memory and not really thinking about the base runners on first base. They're going to call that one foul, and so Katie Raper's going to come back to the plate here. So she'll want that one back, but she has another opportunity here to put it in play. But that is a net positive there for Presbyterian as a potential base runner slips by you there and the out gets taken, or the base runner gets taken off, and you get another opportunity to pitch to her again here at 1-1. Raper pops it straight up. And over there to make the play is Casey Wolf. It seemed like that AB, it was destiny for Casey Wolf to make a play on that ball.
She wanted the ball to come to her so she could finish it herself.
And what a story she was in that first game. Casey Wolf, came in support of Jenna Green, who, has so much pedigree in herself, over 600 strikeouts in her career. But Casey Wolf came in and really settled the team down in that moment when you really weren't expecting it.
Sometimes it's almost the younger players that can do that because they haven't been in those situations before, so they don't know how to act. They're just going to focus on themselves, and she kept great poise.
It's like a level of blissful ignorance,
right,
because you're not in that spot, so you don't really know to be worked up about it, right? So it worked out well for Casey Wolf. She made a good play over there at third base and pitched well in that game. And this is Michelle Tarpey, and she loves to chase. She's going to have to protect here on 0-2, can make contact with any pitch that's thrown to her. It's just a matter of putting it in play here. And more often than not, that leads to her battling away here at 2 strikes. Hit well by Michelle Tarpey, and it's out to the wall past the glove of Kelby Goodrum out in left field, and the Speedster's on second base. Stand-up double for Michelle Tarpey with a nice piece of contact.
I mean, her on-base percentage is about 40%, so you knew she was coming around, but she wanted 2 bases this time. Great swing. Like you said, she'll reach for everything, but she didn't have to reach much on that pitch. Great spot, be able to get to second base.
You actually saw Logan Grice, the catcher, pop up to catch that there from Peyton Duncan with how high that one was coming in. Tarpey again just puts a barrel even keel with it, able to get up high onto it and connect with it well. And NC State has another runner on second base here, 1 out. And Kaylee Lambrecht, she could use a base hit, especially to bring one around here. Michelle Tarpey has struggled so far offensively this season, but there's a reason why she's in this lineup. Sees the second one by for 1-1. That'll be a more hittable opportunity there for Lambrecht. A little bit of wind blowing out into left field. Sun basking Dale Softball Stadium here. Kaylee Lambrecht is down 2-1. Hits it well. Good move there to get out of the way by your third base umpire there. That's Luke Glusko. Got out quickly and in time.
Got to keep everybody on their toes out there, not just the players.
Umpires are athletes too. So Lambrecht will have to protect here on 2-2. Duncan kicks the leg inside. Not enough there to be called a strike. 3-2. Where do you think we see this next pitch?
3-2 pitch. I think she brings it inside again. I feel like that's what she's been working with a little bit. She has thrown a couple of balls when she's done that, so let's see if she can actually do what she wants it to do. Right down the middle.
Lambrecht hits it to the second baseman, Caitlin Tucker. And albeit that's not the outcome that Kaylee Lambrecht wanted, it does move the runner over to third base, so Michelle Tarpey advances from 2-3 on that ground out from Kaylee Lambrecht. And sometimes those are the kind of sacrifices you make, even in close games like this, just to get yourself ahead. So Rayleigh Lehman, the freshman, who comes in with her 12th AB here, has not recorded a hit yet, so she's looking to make some production happen here. And what a time to do it with a runner on third. She's the first by 0-1. That's advantage to the pitcher here in Peyton Duncan. Smiley as she steps back in, 0-1. Duncan receives the sign, loads up another, a little too low. Lehman holds off on that one, just a freshman. What do you think about her getting this spot here, Amanda?
I think this is the weekend that you do this. Coach Leftwich knows what she's doing when it comes to how game one went with the run rule, feeling confident headed into game two, knowing that you can experiment with lineups, and so late into the season they kind of have the advantage to be able to mix things around so late into the season with these non-conference series.
It's a 2-1 count. Rayleigh Lehman is ahead. Doesn't have a hit yet in her career. No time like the present, especially with Tarpey on third base. That's a better pitch for her to swing at there. I think now that she's seen it in on her hands twice, she doesn't have a choice but to hold off on it. She's going to have to at least take a chop at one that's close.
With 2 outs and a runner on third, this is a dangerous game.
2-2, hit well by Lehman, but ends up tailoring it foul. So she'll stay alive for another 2-2 pitch. And Peyton Duncan is definitely offering, pitches that NC State wants to hit. It's not like they're completely off the plate or anything like that. They're not chasing. They're getting ones down the heart of the plate. See if she gets another one here. Lehman waiting for a 2-2. Duncan loads up on another. And it gets outside. And with Duncan having missing that one there, loading up the 3-2 count. I have a feeling this one's going to be somewhere down the heart of the plate. Great energy from the NC State dugout trying to get the young freshman through it. 3-2 inside, and she'll take her base. That gets a good rise out of the dugout and the teammates of Rayleigh Lehman as she ends up on first base. Now it's runners on the corners here and 2 outs for the Wolfpack.
Now you've got Bailey Edwards coming in, who we saw really step up in game one, and she's been able to get this opportunity because Tori Ensley is injured and out this game, and to be announced when she is coming back. But Bailey has taken advantage of this opportunity. Coach says she outworks a lot of the other players and was ready when her number was called.
That's an important spot to take over in left field, particularly one in which Tori Ensley has really made her own in her freshman season. Had one hit hard to her in that first game, and she was able to make the play. Now we'll try and do it offensively. Edwards fouls one off. I do like her swing, though. Her swing looks good in terms of swinging through it. It's just a matter of putting it in play now. First and third for the Wolfpack. 2 inside for Bailey Edwards. She holds off on it wisely and evens the count back up. Edwards still waiting on hers to hit here at 2-1. And that's Michelle Tarpey who's on third. It's interesting that we haven't seen Rayleigh Lehman take off towards second, albeit that's probably because there's 2 outs on the board. You don't want to get that out at second base and leave Tarpey stranded at third potentially. Edwards swing and a miss at 1 in the dirt. Now it's 2-2. You think Duncan feels confident going back to that same spot?
Yeah, I think she's gained confidence just in these first couple innings here. I think she has a better sense of what Lehman wants right now, or what Edwards wants right now.
2-2, 2 outs, 2 on here for the Wolfpack. Edwards puts it in play. Going to be a play for Casey Wolf to push over to first base, and they do so successfully. So the Blue Hose don't have any blood drawn in that inning. It stays 1-0 as we send it to break here in Raleigh.
Fans from Woodbury will be returning to Dale Softball Field for Game 3 of this weekend series tomorrow. First pitch is set for 1 p.m. Tickets can be purchased at GoPack.com.
Gorgeous day for softball here in the capital city. It's Fisher Plummer and Amanda Poole sharing the broadcast booth with you the entire way. Amanda, I got a question for you. What is your favorite ballpark snack?
Oof.
It's a tough one. I put you on the spot too. I didn't give you any warning, anything like that, so it's hard.
I like the roasted almonds with like cinnamon on them, like in the little cone paper thing.
The Nutty Bavarian.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I got
Those
you.
are my favorite.
I think I'd have to go with a soft pretzel.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
They have to be made well, though.
I agree. Yeah, if it's not fresh, then it's not as good. Tough play over there. It was a tweener between the third baseman and the shortstop as it got over the glove there of Rayleigh Lehman at third base, and Michaela Marbury had to scoop up onto it. By that point, it was too late.
Kara Starnes doing things at the plate now versus the outfield. Her defense was phenomenal earlier in game 1, and now she tips it right over third baseman Rayleigh Lehman. Just a hard grab there, but lost nothing in this one.
Good outcome for the Blue Hose, and Coach Williams certainly will take it. That's nobody out and a runner on first, and then you flip your card back around, and maybe you can play small ball here. You can move the runner over to second base here with Kelby Goodrum. Although that's a risk you take here because Kelby has been one of the better hitters so far today, has seen success, has hit the ball at least 3 times today against NC State.
NC State usually has been doing a good job of getting that first out pretty quickly and kind of slowing down the Presbyterian offense, but they've been doing a good job of responding right away.
And the bunt is laid down here. That's 0-2. So you got to assume that they're going to change their approach for Kelby Goodrum. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. She's hit the ball well. She's got a couple base hits today. And now it's just a matter of advancing the runner. It's good for Feckle, 0-2. Big swing and a miss, just narrowly caught the ball there, did Goodrum to stay alive for another pitch. And I like the approach here from Feckle. She's not dancing around the strike zone or anything. We kind of saw that at the start of her appearance. She threw back-to-back-to-back balls, but now she's really just focusing on the heart of the zone.
And it's worked out in her favor. Obviously, there's no runs from Presbyterian so far, but when you look at the way they've been able to get outs the first 2 innings, it's all been fielding between flyouts, ground outs, and even foul outs.
And that worked out in the favor there of Kara Stearns as she took off towards second base, got a really good jump on it. Was going to be a tough play for Hassler to make regardless, but it got over her glove as Feckle released it a hair late, and it got a little bit more altitude on it, ended up into the backstop. So now scoring position here, and it's a close game, only 1-0 here. A lot less offense through the first few innings compared to the first game. And Starnes looks very confident out there at second base as well. Just seems to be not toying with the infield, but is certainly making her presence known out there.
She's a redshirt senior. She's seen a lot of softball. She's also a James Madison transfer, so she's played at different levels, at different schools, able to play on that experience.
2-2. Feckel got ahead 0-2. Can does eventually get the strikeout at the plate. And that's an ideal outcome as you get out the leadoff batter in Kelby Goodrum, who has been giving you troubles all day, and NC State gets their first out.
Feckel with her second strikeout of the day so far, which she hasn't needed, but she'll use it when she needs it, I guess.
So Caitlin Tucker, who has the best batting average on this team, has a runner in scoring position as well. And now is the time to muster up some RBI and try and bring some across if you're Presbyterian, with the game being this close. Only one out on the board. A runner on second base. And a lead in the count here for Caitlin Tucker.
And Tucker was predicted to do great things ahead of this season. She was preseason All-Big South. She's a senior with a lot of experience on this team when it was at its peak, which was last year, the year before. They really started making noise, had a great start to their season last year, and try to bring that into this year.
Feckel down 0-2, or 2-0 rather. Now it's 3-0. As the past two pitches have been right on the inside half there, but close enough to be misses for Feckel. You got to wonder here if there's a walk, if that prompts a discussion here from Amanda Hassler and Coach Leftwich. Feckel kind of falling back into that hole that we saw her start out with.
Mm-hmm.
Got the strike call. Caitlin Tucker did not think it was a strike. She still cannot believe that it was a strike.
She threw that bat away.
Casey Wolf giving it back to her now. Get another look at it here. It was close.
She's thinking it was too high.
Stoic call from behind the plate there from Carlos Santiago.
The slow motion.
Yeah. 3-1, right back up the middle. Michaela Marbury snags it, but she can't quite make the throw over to first. And it's a good thing that she did make the play on that ball, because it seemed like Stearns was destined to come around third.
New batter, third baseman, number 99.
It was hot coming off that bat. So good for Marbury to keep that within the infield. That'll keep runners on the corners here for Presbyterian. Mind you, they haven't scored today. We're in game 2 of 2 of the doubleheader. NC State won the first one 10-0. They got a runner on third here with one out. This is certainly the best spot that they've been in so far today, and Casey Wolf is the right person to be at the plate for Coach Williams. Things have fallen into place well for the Blue Hose here. And they get one straight up on Casey Wolf. Rayleigh Lehman, the freshman, makes the call and then immediately turns tail towards second to make sure the base runners stay. That was a savvy veteran move there from just a freshman.
Yeah, and to be able to call off Amanda and say, hey, I've got this, I'm tracking the ball. And then to be able to look at the field and see where everybody is, great vision. And I think that's, as a freshman, we're seeing the foundation of that defense Leftwich wants so badly.
That was one of the core principles that she talked about coming into this first season as her being a head coach, was how important the defensive fundamentals are going to have to be in order for this team to not just win games, but win close games as well. And that's kind of where this game is falling in right now. And it's those plays like that from Rayleigh Lehman that, keep the pressure off of the rest of the field and gets outs on the board relatively easily for Kayla Feckel. Now she just needs to focus on the batter at the plate.
What's that saying someone said once or twice, that defense wins championships?
Yeah.
It's definitely something a lot of programs build themselves off of.
Yeah, there's a thing to that method. It does typically see success, and Coach Leftwich is trying to instill that here. First and third, and a big spot for Kendall Owens. There hasn't been a bigger AB today, I would argue, for Presbyterian than right now, just to get something across the board. Owens awaits the 2-0. That was a good pitch to swing at, but she didn't want to. You could see the emotions of her wanting to go through it, but she holds off instead. She's seen a strike. She knows what she's looking for. 2-1. The wind's blowing out the right field ever so slightly. It's picked up a little bit. 2-1. Better pitch to swing at there from Owens, but now you see Feckle's got herself back into the count. The clap start here at the Dale, 2-2. 2 on for Presbyterian. They haven't been able to score today. This is the closest that they've been. It's on the bat of Kendall Owens.
Staying alive.
That's right. Kendall Owens has a flair for the dramatics. So we'll do it again here. 2-2 part 2. First and third here for the Blue Hose. Kendall Owens trying to tie this game up off of Kayla Feckle. State leads 1-0 here in the top of the third. Fouls it off once again. Oh, 0 for 3 today, Amanda.
0 for 3.
You have just put some bad juju into the hands of the fans today.
It's also, we're so shaded here, so I don't know how hard it is to see the ball from there. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And also, you know, just handballing it without a glove.
It's tough.
Good. A for effort. Okay, I'll give that.
Part 3 on this 2-2. Fouls off another. She's right on time with it, Kendall Owens. It's just a matter of putting it in play now. She's had a couple of really long ABs this game.
This is pitch number 9 in this at-bat right now. Flair for dramatic is an understatement.
2-2 once again outside. Double digits
Number
into this
10.
AB here for Kendall Owens. Yeah, it doesn't really matter the outcome now. If she gets out, she gets out. But still, for Presbyterian, needs something. The dugout is excited. Potential to get a run across here for the Blue Hose. They need it to tie this game up here in the third. 3-2 payoff pitch. It's hit straight up. Is it going to stay in the ballpark? No chance for the fans to catch on to that one. It'll get out of play. And fortunately for Kendall Owens, she's going to get another chance here. Pitch 12 here for Kayla Feckle, who up to this point really had been pitching pretty efficiently. She got behind a couple of counts, but still was able to get out of them positively. Another big time 3-2 here. Deja vu. This one goes over the center, or the home plate netting this time.
Do you think it helps or hurts when you see this many pitches in one at-bat?
I think the more and more pitches that the batter faces, the better and better they feel about what's coming towards the plate. Statistically, it says that the batter has a better chance after the more pitches that come in. This is pitch 12, I believe. 13. And it's put in play. Is it going to get down? Taylor Inslee makes the catch out in right field, so the Blue Hose come up empty-handed despite a really long AB there from Kendall Owens. It remains 1-0 here in Raleigh. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. It's all good. Bottom of the third here in Raleigh. We got a barn burner. It's 1-0 between NC State and Presbyterian. Game 2 of 2 of the doubleheader. Got game 3 tomorrow, 12 p.m. start. But NC State holds a 1-0 advantage here. Michaela Marbury puts one into play, and she is on first at a bare minimum here. Will hold off at first base. That's a first pitch, first swing. Great approach there from Michaela Marbury.
After such a slow bottom of the second, look at this quick start from NC State. Marbury taking advantage of her spot in the lineup right now, starting things off strong.
She had actually fallen out of the lineup, at a certain point coming into the Virginia Tech series, and we saw her replaced with Elena Smith defensively, and that was the main reason that Coach Leftwich made that swap, was to plug the holes a little bit more on the defensive side of things. But she just brings so much offensively and a great approach and great intangibles, even on the base paths as well, that you can't keep her really out of the lineup.
I know we talk about how much Leftwich prioritizes defense, but at what point do you take away an offensive threat like that?
There was actually a great moment when Hannah Goodwin put the ball out into right field to put the 2 runs around to win the game for NC State against Virginia Tech. Coach Leftwich put up a hard, solid stop sign to Michaela Marbury, and Marbury just plowed straight through it and did get home safely just in time. And I think she was the most excited person in the entire stadium at that point. So she's a threat out there on the base paths as well. They want her speed.
The first foot hit of this game, as we saw multiple in game number 1.
Now that you said something, Amanda, we're going to see
I'm
more
sorry.
and more of it. Hey, don't say sorry to me.
I wish that
it's
on
for
no
them.
one. I know,
yeah,
sorry.
it's for them. 1-2 for Taylor Ensley. Nobody out. Suns decided to stick around for a couple innings here in game 2 of 2. Hit well by Ensley, opposite field. Is it going to get down? It will, but it's foul. And Ensley has that opposite field power. We don't see that super often in softball where they go opposite field to where they are, but Taylor Ensley has hit multiple home runs this season over the right field wall. Big swing and a miss there from Taylor Ensley. And how about that from Peyton Duncan to get out one of the best batters in this lineup for NC State? It really felt like this was the heart of the lineup, the real meat where they were going to be able to get some runners on here. But that's a big-time first out.
Yeah, that's just controlling the weapons that NC State has, and taking her out of this inning is big for a start for Presbyterian, especially when they already have one runner on.
Amanda Hassler has shown her power today, and Peyton Duncan certainly will be cognizant of it, as if she gets any ones down the middle, Amanda Hassler is going to take a chop at it. And Duncan has looked really good coming into this game as well. I think that, her stats on the season are a little misleading. Throw down to second base, not quite in time. Michaela Marbury shows the speed there, takes off towards second, and now has a runner in scoring position.
I was going to say about Peyton Duncan, we talk about how she's had these sparks of greatness through this season, but you and I talked about her last time out, was last series against USC Upstate. She allowed 5 hits and 7 runs, but sometimes it's those type of outings that can motivate you to come out here and say, hey, wait, this is really what I'm about.
Right. And she is certainly better than that, no outs, 5 hits and 7 runs in one spot, performance that she had in her last appearance. And she's certainly pitching like it never happened. It's a short-term memory type situation with pitchers in terms of not remembering, a poor outing and just keeping your foot on the gas and staying constant. 3-0 here to Hassler. She holds off on a 3-0. What is your opinion on swinging on a 3-0 pitch? I ask this to almost every analyst that I talk to.
It just depends on the vision. Like, I think Amanda Hassler is a great batter, so she has great vision, so I would trust her judgment, but I personally would not.
That's hit well. Did it stay fair is the question. That was a really close one either way. It was called foul in the moment. Hassler did hit it well. It got out to the wall quickly. That would have certainly scored Marbury. But Hassler will instead have to stay alive here and fight on a full count. But yeah, that tends to be the method that people see, is that
right.
You have to really be hot. You know, you got to really be hot, a really good batter in order to want to swing on 3-0 and be confident you're sending it over. Hassler puts it into play. It's into the outfield, and Marbury's going to go home. She's in safely in time. Hassler's on first base. Tick another RBI onto her tally. She just continues doing her.
She makes it look so easy as well with each attempt she takes in her at-bats, where she's like, all right, you didn't like that one, or that wasn't in the right spot. Take a look at this one. You know, let me try to put it down this area. She seems very in control at the plate, able to put the ball right where she wants it to, because she knows Wolfpack has someone on second, want to get her home. Now it's a 2-0 game.
Amanda Hassler is the one you want at the plate when you need to bring some runs around. She's proven that status this year. Does it once again here for Coach Leftwich and pushes the lead out to 2 here for NC State. Ellie Goins will follow suit here. Bit of a different game than the first one, really, Amanda. We saw, NC State really jump all over them in the first couple of innings, but so far through this, the offense has been sparing.
Yeah, definitely a tale of two stories, because you have such a slower tempo game this time. Not because they're playing at a slower tempo, but Presbyterian's been able to drag out these frames a little longer because they've been able to get on base and stay on base a little bit longer and have a chance to score runs, which they still haven't done yet. Oof.
Goins catches this one well. It's over the left fielder's head. No chance for Kelby Goodrum to make the catch, and Hassler's going to be sent home. She's on her high horse trying to get home safely, and it's all the way around from first base. Amanda Hassler turned on the afterburners, and Ellie Goins is on second with an RBI.
25 RBIs this season for Goins. She does great defensively, but here she's stepping up at the plate here, launching this one in a sweet spot, an unreachable spot. Presbyterian, a little slip and fall there, gives Amanda some time to get home.
Time called here from Coach Williams. What do you think the discussion is being had here at the circle between him and his infielders?
It's interesting when you have such young players mixed with experienced players. So how much does a coach have to say when you have that experience that can hold down the fort mentally? But I'm sure he's coming in there and calming them down again, knowing that it's a 3-0 lead. They're still in this, a lot of frames left to play. And look at what happened in game one. They've been able to stop that from happening so far, for it not to get out of hand so early. Take a deep breath, I think, is an overall message.
Coach Williams has seen success with this team in his 6th year here at Presbyterian. They started off 12-0 previous season and was hoping to carry some of that momentum into the back half of this year. Has since skidded a little bit, like you said. Some injuries have started to pile up and some things that didn't quite go their way. But you're seeing it here. They're able to compete with the level here of NC State. And they're still within this one here. It's 3-0. But it is a two-run spot here in the bottom of the third for the Wolfpack. Amanda Hassler brought the first around, and then Ellie Goins just brought Hassler to the plate. And so Goins ends up on second base, only one out for Peyton Duncan. It's just a matter of getting through this half inning here and just getting into the dugout. As you can see, there is a little bit of activity in the bullpen of the Blue Hose. Long delay in between pitches here for Peyton Duncan. Pitch clock is the violation that's going to be called, so you can add a ball onto the count there. As it did seem like it took a little bit of extra time there for Peyton Duncan to come and get set, and that's just another reminder there of the rules that we have in place. What are your thoughts on the pitch clock, not just in softball, but in general for ball and bat sports, just moving the game at a little bit of a better pace?
I like it as a viewer, as an analyst. I like the movement of the game. I love fast-paced games, and I think the pitch clock kind of forces that to happen.
I think last year it was 2 hours and 45 minutes was the average time for a baseball game, and they cut it down to, I think, 2 hours 20 with the pitch clock, so 25-minute cutoff. in the first year, and that's obviously just the average of, you know, the cumulative scores and games and stuff.
Now, if they could only control the rain.
I know the weather. Yeah, the weather delay. That's a whole nother ballpark that you're dealing with there.
0 for 4.
Yeah, we're waiting on someone to catch one out here in the concourse. They're going to get an opportunity today. It's a matter of when, not if. Katie Raper's got a full count here. Runner on second. Ellie Goins is ready to take off at second base. Katie Raper catches all of it, and she crushes it over the left field wall. That's how you make a statement for your coach. Repaying the trust to put you in the lineup. Katie Raper sends one over the left field wall and extends the lead out for the Wolfpack.
Wow, what a get for Katie Raper coming in here with only a few at-bats to her name and then taking advantage of her time at the plate. Beautiful swing and follow through. That one's gone.
No doubt from Katie Raper there. Sends it over the left field wall. 2 more will hit the plate for NC State. It's 5-0 here in the bottom of the third. And that's
her first home run of her career with the Wolfpack. Pretty exciting day for Katie Raper.
So what a moment there for Katie Raper. Extends this game out to 5-0 with a 4-run spot here in the bottom of the third. Michelle Tarpey caught a good piece of it. It's carrying out in the wall, and it's out of here. Back-to-back homers on back-to-back pitches for the Wolfpack. This time it's Michelle Tarpey getting involved in the party. And that's 2 people coming off the bench for Coach Leftwich making plays.
This is exactly what Coach Leftwich wants to see from these pieces that she sees as depth. But now here they are making a statement saying, hey, you can count on me when my number's called. Wow.
So this game has just opened up here in the bottom of the third. We talked about the lull, you know, of the second game and how this game is just a completely different pace than the previous. We didn't see as much offense, and well, that commentator's curse didn't take long to flip that around on here. Bottom of the third, 5 runs for NC State. It started off with Amanda Hassler bringing one around. Ellie Goins brought her around, and then Katie Raper with one out into left field. And finally, it's Michelle Tarpey who pushes it out to 6-0 here. Only one out on the board for the Blue Hose. Tough spot here for Peyton Duncan. What do you think for Coach Williams, how much longer you let her go?
Well, we talked about this short-term memory, and she's been able to move on from some tough situations, but back-to-back home runs, you got to think there's got to be a change-up if she can't get herself out of this next at-bat.
Just a matter of getting that next out on the board here for Peyton Duncan. That was the trend of this second game that we saw, really, from the Blue Hose, is that they were able to get that first out quickly and nullify the amount of time where they were stuck out on defense. But this has been a big open up here in the bottom of the third for the Wolfpack. That's an ideal second out, though. We just talked that one into existence.
Right.
Peyton Duncan gives a thumbs up. It's Rayleigh Lehman who will step in for another chance here. And I think Coach Williams is probably going to ride with Peyton all the way till the end of the half inning here. I don't mind that call, particularly when she's gotten you to the position where she's at now.
And you've got empty bases right now with 2 outs. So unless NC State has another home run in them this inning, we will see.
Rayleigh Lehman still looking for her first hit. Got a walk in the first AB of this game. Still looking to put it in play. And Peyton Duncan and company would want that too, because they're trying to get that third out. Duncan loads up on the 1-1. That's a hittable pitch there for Rayleigh Lehman. She's just not quite wanting to turn around on it yet. Maybe just thinking about it a little too much. Sets up a 2-2 for the young freshman. Peyton Duncan loads up on another. Hit well by Rayleigh Lehman. The left fielder is underneath it. That's Kelby Goodrum who's able to make the catch. So a loud final out for NC State, but a loud bottom of the third for the Wolfpack. 5 runs cross, and it's 6-0 here in Raleigh.
All right.
All right, fans, it's now time to name that tune. I think you know the song title and the artist who sings it. Be the first person to meet our staff member behind the press box, and you'll go home a winner. Take a listen, fans. Can you name this song title and artist who sings it? Come to the press box with the right answer, you can go home a winner. And congratulations, Helen. You got the right answer with Style by Taylor Swift. That means you're going home with NC State Flyers bag. Thank you for your support. NC State Softball.
Well, that was an exciting bottom of the third here in Raleigh. NC State gets 5 across in that half frame to push it out to 6-0 here in the capital city. Dale Softball Stadium, where we got the doubleheader ongoing here between NC State and Presbyterian. It's Amanda Poole and Fisher Plummer inside the broadcast booth the entire way with you. Got one more game tomorrow at 12, and Carly Maxton is going to man the circle here for Coach Leftwich. What do you think about that swap, and what did you think about Kayla Feckel and her overall day today?
Yeah, let me give you her final stat line. 3 innings pitched, just allowed 2 hits, obviously no runs as it's still 6-0 right now. She had 3 strikeouts and only walked 2 batters. What a great start for her. Just her 3rd start this season, and to be able to do it in that fashion and so confidently, really appreciated that. But now we've got a freshman in the circle, another young gun, another talent that Leftwich is looking to build upon with this team in year 1.
And she has the least amount of innings pitched of any of the typical ones that we see coming out of the lineup. And
wow,
what a catch out in center field, Ellie Goins.
You told me she makes Sports Center, so that makes a lot of sense. Let's take another look at this. This could be on national sports TV later on this week. It's a blast. You don't think she's going to be there. And an extending, diving catch. Beautiful. Top 10 right there.
What a play from the center fielder, Ellie Goins. That may be her 2nd Sports Center top 10 of the season. And there's a couple others that probably deserve nominees as well. That was a loud first out for NC State. What a way to settle Carly Maxton in is to get that catch out in center field. You got to be feeling good. And now Maxton is ahead 0-2. She seems to have a really good approach here. Emma Yanis will have to protect here on 0-2. Well, Amanda, if the first 3 innings were anything to tell about, those last 15 minutes of action right there, including that diving catch, was not on my bingo card for this second game.
Hey, Coach Leftwich said that she wanted to get back to what this Wolfpack team is known for and what they're good at, back to their defense, back to their poise, and just playing them and not being afraid to step up for a challenge, and that's exactly what we're saying.
Giannis fouls another alive here on 1-2. Will stay alive against Maxton.
Maxton having pitched just a little over 16 innings before this one.
Do another 1-2 here to Emma Yanis. Holds off on that one. You can see where Maxton was trying to go with it. And it's not like Maxton has a real go-to pitch at this point of her career. She's still just trying to figure it out herself.
I think that's what a game and a day like today is for, just an experience to build off of.
2-2, Maxton loads up on another. Swing and a miss, but I think that she just narrowly caught it with her bat and will stay alive for one more.
And Maxton's a woman that has, that's all she is softball. She's played softball since she was 6 years old and nothing else, no other sports. Normally you see a kid that tries a bunch of things, but I don't know, you know what you love when you know.
She's looking solid here at 2-2. Got the first out with some help from her center fielder, Ellie Goins. Might see that one on ESPN later tonight. Holds off on another 2-2. This time it'll be a full count for Maxton to try and dial in a strike. I think for Carly at this point, you think it's just putting it down the heart of the plate and letting your defense do the work behind you?
Yeah, I agree, because as you can see, nothing's going to get past the outfield, it seems like.
Full count. Maxton delivers one in, and again, just ticked off the bat there of Emma Yanis. I've seen a couple of these longer at-bats here from the Blue Hose. They've done a good job of staying alive when they've gotten down on strikes. It hasn't been a lack of contact today from Presbyterian. We'll just say that.
As much as we talk about this NC State team not being afraid, I think the Blue Hose team has done a great job of that as well, being able to step up to the plate regardless of who's pitching and who's on base, what the score is. They've been unafraid to just attempt and keep trying. That's what Coach said. They're going to compete no matter what.
And that's the one constant that you can keep despite the pitching changes and the team changes is your approach. That's the one thing that can remain the same no matter what the pitcher is. Right fielder going to make a play onto this one. That's Taylor Inslee, who holds on to it for a second out. Not quite as tough as her center fielder counterpart, but they'll take it nonetheless. 2 outs on the board here for Maxton and the Wolfpack.
Both of them still resulted in an out, no matter how cool one catch was to the other.
So an easier one for Taylor Inslee. Second out, counts just the same. And Maxton is settled in here with 2 outs. It was a 5-run bottom of the third spot for NC State. Said the first 2 innings were anything to talk about. That was not expected. It just kind of opened up. Started off with Amanda Hassler bringing one around. She was brought around by Ellie Goins. Home run from Katie Raper, the first of her career. Michelle Tarpey comes in and gets a hit as well and puts it over the wall.
Yeah, that was her third home run of her career. So for them to be able to get in there and make an impact like that.
And yeah, those are 2 players that were not a part of the starting lineup, the typical starting lineup that we see from Coach Leftwich coming in and contributing. And that's exactly what you have to do in these, in-between types of games where it's not necessarily conference, but they still matter on your win-loss record.
Not only does it give Coach Leftwich confidence in them, but the players themselves seeing that actually happen, be like, hey, all this work that I've been doing, it's going to pay off.
And, I mean, that hit from Katie Raper, it looks like she has hit that ball over that left field fence 150 times before that, in that same scenario. She knew it was gone. She caught all of it cleanly. You have a feeling that there's going to be more of that in her career.
Oh, yeah.
2-1, big swing and a miss. It's a nice high pitch to get Grice to commit. And now, again, Maxton's come in here, worked a couple of outs, got herself in a 2-2, potential to get an out at the plate here. We'll see what she goes to with on an execute pitch. 2-2, Maxton loads up, outside, was trying to catch that outside corner. No such luck. We'll reset for another 3-2 here. So she'll take her base. That's a good outcome there for Logan Grice. That was a long AB. Ends up on first base with 2 outs. It doesn't really matter how many outs are on the board here for the Blue Hose. It's just a matter of producing offense at any cost. Jillian Hughes now Sees the first pitch by for Carly Maxton as a strike. It's a better return pitch there from Maxton. She had gotten behind in every single count up to this point. Now finds herself ahead. Let's see if she gets a better outcome out of it. Good 2 pitches in the same spot. And now if you're Jillian Hughes, you're going to have to assume that that's going to be in your wheelhouse and you're going to have to swing at it. 0-2, Maxton trying to get out of this. Swing and a miss. Did it catch the bat? There was a runner already occupying first base, so she's automatically out, and that's 3 recorded for NC State. Maxton gets a strikeout at the plate, but it was a great play from Ellie Goins out in center field that takes the headlines. 6-0, your score here as we take it to break.
Wolfpack fans, NC State football is back in less than 4 months. Now, the Wolfpack downtown makes you hear harder than the stadium as the pack takes on Duke, Wake Forest, Stanford, Syracuse, and home. Off the bottom of the 4th inning for the Wolfpack, number 51, left fielder Bailey Edwards.
A warm welcome back. Bottom of the 4th here in Raleigh. Fisher Plummer, Amanda Poole with you the entire way through this 3-game series, game 2 of 2. And what is your thoughts here about Coach Williams sticking with Peyton Duncan to back into the circle here for Presbyterian?
I think he knows something about her that maybe we haven't seen yet. He knows what she's capable of and also doesn't want to ruin her confidence by taking her out.
That was a heck of a heads-up play there from Logan Grice. Had only a couple of seconds to react to that bunt play. And you see here, this was a heck of a play here from the catcher Grice, who had not a lot of time to react to it.
Pops it up. And in those catcher's helmets, it's really hard to see when you look up, but her vision there to be able to be there for the ball. Great out, and that's a quick first out that'll be useful down the line.
I'll set up Michaela Marbury, flips the lineup card back over. That's not quite the AB that Bailey Edwards was hoping for. But that faith being paid off here to keep Duncan in, get a good quick first out. Flip the card back over, and now you got to deal with a couple of dangerous batters here in Marbury and Taylor Inslee at a minimum. Marbury hits it well and finds a spot past the hot corner there. Casey Wolf laid out for it, but it wasn't in her glove when she got back up. And Marbury's on first base with another base hit.
Powerful hit from Marbury, and she's someone who has patience at the plate. She's top 10 in the ACC in walks per game, but she also knows how to hit. She's got 10 home runs this season. She knows how to place the ball there to get her on base, set her teammates up to be able to add on to this score here.
Got to watch out for Marbury on first. She has potential to take off towards second base. Has a stolen base in this game. And Taylor Inslee now will try and change her approach here on 0-1. Third time facing Peyton Duncan. Called for a strike. That's 0-2 now. Inslee will have to change her approach. And you think that those just went by her because she wasn't expecting those two to be such good strikes, or do you think she's sitting on something else?
I think Duncan knows what it takes to strike her out. She did it the last at-bat, so I think she's going to try to do the same thing. Wild pitch.
Not on that one for Peyton Duncan. It'll get over the head of Logan Grice, and Marbury ends up on second base as a result of it. Hensley knew well to hold off on that one. Now sets up a 1-2. Another long time in between pitches here for Peyton Duncan. She loads up on a 1-2. Hensley hits it well, but tails it foul. Coach Leftwich barking instructions from the third baseline over there. She's so vocal and active, animated as well is a word that I would use to describe her third base coaching style.
It's interesting coming from a dozen years at a program like LSU where you're in the College World Series so often, to come from that and then come here and try to build something. It's really cool.
Taylor Inslee puts one right back up the middle, right where it came from, and Michaela Marbury is going to profit from it. She comes all the way around, and NC State pushes their lead out to 7-0 here.
They don't even need a runner on third. They've been able to make these big hits to get somebody home coming from second, a hit like that to be able to go right through the infield and tag on another run at 7-0.
And for NC State at this point, it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a pitching change here. Peyton Duncan is going to have her day finished, but she was solid today, all things considered. I think the 7-0 scoreline a little unfair to her in regards to how the bottom of the third inning went in terms of that opening up of runs. But we'll tell you about the new arm in the circle when we come back here on ACC Network Extra.
For the Wolfpack, pitch hitting at first base is number 13, Gabby Wilson. For the Blue Hose, now in a circle, number 73, Lady Ruska.
Warm welcome back to you here in the bottom of the fourth. 7-0 your score. It'll be Lainey Rusko who will man the circle here for Coach Williams here in Presbyterian. What are you excited about to see in her, Amanda?
Well, we haven't seen much from her. She's only pitched 2 innings this season. The freshman from Lexington, North Carolina, coming out here in a tough moment, but going to try to prove herself, see what she's got.
And a tough batter to face here as your first one in Amanda Hassler. I mean, that's just no slouch. Can't think of a worse person to face here through the first 9 for Rusko to go through. On the flip side of that, maybe it's the best person to face as your first batter, as you're going to immediately be tested. It's a pinch runner on first. That's Gabby Wilson, who made way for Taylor Inslee.
Well, last game we saw Casey Wolf, a freshman, come in here and be able to settle. Wow.
You call it, Amanda.
Yeah, that was a beautiful Amanda Hassler home run. The second one we've seen today. 14th in her career. Let me make sure that's right. I'm losing count. There's too many.
It's just been one of those days for Amanda Hassler. She catches another ball cleanly and pushes the lead out here for NC State. And she just
home run of the season.
just continues to lead by example, does Amanda Hassler, only a sophomore, by the way. She has got such a good future in preparation here for NC State.
I'm sitting here trying to give the freshman pitcher hope, and then Amanda Hassler has to go and hit a home run out of this ballpark, taking advantage again of the short court, but maybe she doesn't need it. That one was well beyond the fence.
You know pretty well once it comes off the bat of Amanda Hassler whether or not it's going to get over that fence or not, and that one had the makings of it. Fortunate thing there is that Lainey Rusco has a smile on her face after that situation. Still is an opportunity to learn. We talked about Amanda Hassler being one not to face when you first come in here, and made her pay immediately. So it's a 9-0 lead. Ellie Goins will lay down a bunt.
It's been interesting for NC State. They've been able to do more than just hit home runs, but they've been able to get people on base so that when a power swinger like Amanda Hassler comes on, they've already got someone on. So those home runs turned into 2 RBIs, and they've done that multiple times today.
Ellie Goins just made an excellent catch out in center field in the previous half inning, is now going to try and add to it via the offensive side of things. Goins is so patient, stays ahead here at 2-1. For Lainey Rusco, I think she just needs to see an out kind of go her way, and then that maybe will settle her in for a fresh AB. I think her mind was probably still caught up in Amanda Hassler's home run there through the first couple of pitches of this at bat.
Mine is too. My mind is still caught up in the 2-run homer.
Yeah, it's easy to be wrapped up. A lot of excitement here at Dale Softball Stadium today. The second game, we don't think we were expecting such a big offensive showing from NC State. If the first couple of innings were anything to say about it, both teams were playing pretty solid defensively, and both pitchers were working quite well. But NC State really opened it up in the bottom of the third. A couple of home runs, a couple of timely RBI hits. And this is a heck of a play by Casey Wolf over at third base. How about it? We've seen some good defense despite the offense that we've seen recently. That was a really good play on the hot corner.
She's been able to do it all offensively, in the circle, and now here at third base. That was a powerful shot to third, but she was ready for it. Big arm to first base.
Nice play there from Casey Wolf. That'll settle Lainey Rusco in. Nobody on, 2 outs. And now Katie Raper, who hit a home run in her last AB, first one of her career, get another opportunity here.
It's good to note when NC State hits 2 or more home runs in a game, they are 11-1. They don't lose very often, if not at all, if they hit 2 or more home runs.
I know it doesn't play necessarily into that stat specifically. We talked about it in the first game, but they're 18-5 after scoring first, I believe, now with the addition that scoring first and striking first and establishing your dominance can be that much more, can be the difference in winning a close game. More often than not, the team that scores first is going to win the game. That's just how things tend to happen. This one gets out of way and foul. It'll be 2-1. But NC State's done a good job this season in terms of scoring early in games, and they've gotten themselves ahead. In the games that they've lost, it's because the offense just hasn't shown up until later in games.
Yeah, when you look at the games that they've lost when the other team scored first. So when the other team scores first, they're 6-16. So they've lost 16 games when they don't get the lead first.
There's something about putting that first foot forward. It's like the same thing with just the batting and the counts. If you get a first pitch strike, your chances of you striking that batter out are just exponentially higher than if you start out 1-0. It's there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's really a mental/human, aspect of the game that you can't really rub away. And that being said, there are hitters that hit better on 1-2 counts, but that's just not the typical norm. Rusco gets one hit well into the right field, caught and held on to it. Mallory Fletcher, who records the third out. 3 runs in the bottom of the fourth for NC State. It's 9-0 here in Raleigh.
And it's now time for a round of trivia. You can keep
3 outs, Amanda. 3 outs.
With the correct answer, you'll go home a winner. Are you ready, fans? Here we go. Today's question. What player on the NC State softball team wears jersey number 3? What player wears jersey number 3? If you know the correct answer, come to meet our staff member behind the press box with the correct answer, and you'll go home a winner. Congratulations, Paisley. You got the right answer. It's Amanda Hassler who is number 3 on the NC State softball team. Paisley, you're going home with a stuffed copy. Thank you for your support. NC State softball. Fans now in right field for the Wolfpack is number 13, Gabby Wilson.
Warm welcome back to you here in the top of the 5th. NC State has made some defensive adjustments as we head into this 5th frame. Amanda Hassler has made way for Katie Raper, who gets some opportunities behind the dish. And then Gabby Wilson will come out and right for Taylor Inslee. And I think what you said, Amanda, is that this may be the first time this season where we've seen an Inslee-less field for NC State, which is kind of rare.
It is rare. Let's hope they can keep it together.
I know. It feels like those have been the constant so far this season. One of the things that Coach Leftwich talked about, just between Tori and Taylor themselves was that, even if they never played an inning of softball for us, they have contributed more to the team than almost anybody else has, which I think is just says more about their character than anything.
Yeah, I agree, and that's something that, I remember hearing that too, saying that they just happen to be good softball players as well, and they're already phenomenal people, and that's really cool because they're able to set that vibe, if you will, before one of them graduates. Like I know Tori and Taylor will be happy to have played together.
This is Grayson Hyatt, the pinch hitter here for Presbyterian. Got a feeling that's where Coach Williams is going to go with in this 5th frame, is start to get some people that haven't seen the field yet today. And Carly Maxton returns to the circle. Were you impressed with her through her first half inning or so?
Yeah, I was. I think she had enough poise even after that 2-run home run from Amanda Hassler. But then again, you're going up against a team that started getting runs really quick and getting hot bats, and sometimes you just can't stop that.
Big swing and a miss on one inside on the hands. That'll have Hyatt down 0-2.
And Maxton with just 1 strikeout so far, but she hasn't needed it, as her fielding's been great behind her.
Katie Raper also getting some reps behind the dish as well. That can be so valuable. That's a position that you truly have no idea, how just involved it is until you get behind the plate and start catching innings yourself. And that's how you get better, is by doing the repetitions over and over. Catches a strikeout there, and Maxton adds another to her tally. 1 out on the board for NC State. They continue to motor on here.
They must be listening to the broadcast. They just called her out, and now she's like, hey, I can get the job done.
Maxton continues to work. She's looked solid, and NC State has gone with a tandem of freshmen here today that has worked well and has so far blanked Presbyterian. 11 hits.
And you think about the pieces that Coach Leftwich wants when she thinks about where she wants this program to be and what, 2-year, 3-year, 5-year plan. When you have freshmen that are already competing at the level of juniors and seniors, that's a bright future for this program.
Yeah, your major contributors are going to be here for at least 2 more years. You think of, what is a senior Michaela Marbury and Amanda Hassler going to look like, for Coach Leftwich, who now has, her grips about her in the ACC and has a little bit more of an understanding of, what she needs to do, because it's not, your first year, being the head coach, there's always going to be stuff that you're going to regret, and there's things you're going to look back on and do differently, but you're always going to get better. And I have a feeling that's one thing that Coach Leftwich, it really stands out to me, is that she's always about improving on the small things. And I think that that will translate to these underclassmen who are contributing in the current moment.
And I think beyond just players and skill, you told me that you've seen the growth of the fan base really blossom since you've been calling these games.
Yeah, the energy. I mean, the start of the season with NC State, I believe they were 13-0 or 14-0 to start the season off, and there was a real buzz around the Dale softball stadium, both in those preseason tournaments and the ones that were right before conference play. And there's obviously a lot of excitement about the potential, tenure here of Coach Leftwich and the pedigree that she brings from LSU, because, I mean, let's face it, that's a place that's got a ton of pedigree that, NC State could stand to have rub off on them.
When you think about the powerhouses in softball, you think about the SEC and the ACC. So definitely a conference worth trying to make a name for.
And she's getting good production from underclassmen. We talked about that, but just even in the circle as well, for Carly Maxson and Kayla Feckel to look as confident as they do as freshmen has to just feel so good moving forward. Maxson has a 1-2 here. Big swing and a miss and a sword there from Molly Mattis. Never really looked like hitting that ball, but it was deceptive there from Carly Maxson, and she adds to her tally.
Maybe she wants to shut this game down herself.
She's gotten some help from her fielders, but as of right now, it's been Carly Maxson who has made it happen at the plate. We'll have another pinch hitter here for Presbyterian. This is Morgan Farthing. Get a chance here.
I was looking down. I was like, oh, she looks a little bit taller than Coach. Looking at my papers here, she's 6'1", got great length for a softball player. Maxson meeting the moment, looking unafraid, very confident, looking like she's supposed to be here.
And that's not something that you would really expect from a freshman, especially at this point of the season. Big swing and a miss there from Farthing. Has her down 0-2.
The clapping is starting here at the stadium.
Big 0-2 pitch here for Carly Maxson, trying to sit down Morgan Farthing. Swing and a miss. Well, that'll finish it off here. NC State secures the win 9-0 here in Raleigh. It's a doubleheader sweep for NC State as they are able to take it over Presbyterian, both 10-0 and 9-0. Amanda, give me a few thoughts about what you thought about today.
I thought NC State came out swinging. Their inner circle was superb. Their pitching was great. Knowing when to come in and out, coaches did a great job of experimenting with the lineup and really saw what her depth is made of.
Coach Leftwich and company secure 2 wins today here in Raleigh. NC State take it 10-0 in Game 1 and 9-0 in Game 2. For Amanda Poole, my name's Fisher Plummer. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 12 o'clock, first pitch.